Okay, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. You're gonna speak to a recruiter. I get this question all the time. Everybody's asking me, can I have tips for speaking to a recruiter? Can I have tips for speaking to a recruiter? What should I ask the recruiter? I'm going to talk to a recruiter and I'm nervous. What should I ask the recruiter? I've done a video on what you should ask your recruiter, but people still get in there and they get sidetracked or scared or intimidated. I don't know what the case is, and they make these mistakes. Oh my goodness. So I want to talk to you guys about what not to do when you go speak to a recruiter. Welcome to my life as I live it. I'm Army Princess, the mother, wife, and soldier, and I want to share this journey with you. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe now so you don't miss a moment of it. For anybody that is following me that is military, going to join the military, you may want to definitely check out Matt Ward's channel. So I'm going to link him below. He is an awesome Army soldier. He is I don't want to say new to the Army, but he's newer than me, and he does a lot of questions about basic training. So anybody that's interested in basic training, definitely make sure you check out his video. Guys, he has all of the basic training videos. I rarely do questions about basic training because, like I said, I've been through basic training so long ago, and I don't want to tell y'all things, and things ain't even the way they used to be. So, but I got this video idea from him, and I thought I'd put my own spin on it because I still get these type of questions in my comment section and in my email box. So I want to address them on my channel. My first tip is that they don't ask direct questions. Being direct when you speak to a recruiter, going in there with a list and being very direct in the questions you ask is going to make you go a lot further when speaking to a recruiter, because recruiters are trying to recruit people. They're trying to get whoever and anybody that is eligible to join the military in the military. So if you go in there and you're very general, you may not get all of the questions asked that you want, or you may not get the questions asked, you may not get your specific question asked in detail like you would like it. So I always tell people in my videos, go in there with a list. Research as much as you can before you go in to speak to a recruiter. Know what jobs you want. Have an A, a B, and a C. And then, go in there and ask very direct, detailed questions. Don't ask, well, what's the military like? Or what's basic training like? Because that's so broad and so general, and that type of question depends on the person you're asking. You can ask one person and they have one whole set of answers, and you ask another person and they have a whole nother example or answer for you. That is such a broad question, and you're going to ask that question and get one specific person's opinion on their basic training experience. Take it like it's Bible and go into your basic training experience thinking yours is going to be that way, and it may not be that way. So ask specific questions. What's dinner like at basic training? What's sleeping like at basic training? What's the actual training time like at basic training? Don't ask, well, is basic training scary or not? I mean, it depends on the person you're asking. That leads me into tip number 2. Like I said in number 1, do your research. The biggest justice you can do yourself is doing your own research. Research what jobs you want to do. What jobs are in the military? What jobs would you like to do? Or what jobs do you think would be good for you? If you're talking about medical field, research all of the jobs in the medical field. Don't be like me. I said I wanted nursing. They said, well, we don't have nursing. You have to have a degree. And they said, well, we have pharmacy, and I said I'll take it. I didn't even look and see what other type of medical jobs there were. I knew I wanted something medical, but I didn't take the time to look and see if they had research lab tech, if they had radiology tech, if they had flight medic, if they had pulmonary tech, respiratory tech, physical therapy. I didn't look at that. I wish I would have. I probably would have picked one of those jobs. So do your research. There's other things in the military than just a medic, a MP, and 88 Mike, which is a truck driver. And that's the job they're going to try to push on everybody. 88 Mike truck driver. If you absolutely like driving trucks, go for it. If driving trucks don't sound like nothing you want to do, don't take it. Which leads me into step 3, having a plan. So a lot of times you might go in, having a plan B, sorry. A lot of times you might go in saying, I want to be a respiratory tech. I keep saying tech. A respiratory tech. And they say, well, right now, respiratory technician positions are not open right now. Right now, we only have truck driver. And people go in there and they get intimidated and they think they have to pick something that day, or they think they have to pick what the recruiters and the other people at MEPS give you. And then they get roped into something that they hate. And then their experience is bad in the military. And then they go on camera and they talk about how bad the military is because they picked something that they hate doing every day. Have you ever heard the saying, if you enjoy what you're doing, it's not a job? So there are people that I've heard in the military that I work with every single day that say they love their job. They love doing their job in the military. It's because they probably did their research and they probably picked something they enjoy doing. I see a lot of females here on YouTube, a lot of females in life in the military that get roped into 88 Mike, or get roped into some type of motor pool job, or get roped into medical, or get roped into signal, or get roped into an MP job, and they hate it. Have a plan B. If they tell you respiratory technician is not open until 6 months from now, then make sure you pick a plan B. Maybe you can do occupational technician, or maybe you can do a physical therapy tech, or maybe there's other realms of the medic field that you might like to go into that may not be respiratory tech, but it may be your plan B, something that you're like, if this doesn't work out, then I'll be okay with this job. So please, please, please make sure you go in with a plan B. So a lot of things that happen to people when they go talk to a recruiter or when they go to MEPS is that they feel like they can't change their mind. The recruiter is like a salesman. They are going to try to get you to do whatever you need to do to join the military because they need to make their quota. So if you go in there not knowing what you want, not having a plan B, and you just pick whatever they give you, and then you get home and you're like, I really don't think that is the job for me, that is the MOS for me. But people get stuck and they feel like, well, I already told them I would do that, or I already signed this paperwork saying I would do that, so now I'm stuck for the next 5 years of my contract doing something I hate. You have the right to change your mind. You have the right to go back to your recruiter and say, hey, I thought about it overnight. That's really not the job for me. I really don't want to do that. I would like to do something else. You have the right to change your mind all the way up until, I want to say, you sign the paperwork at MEPS. So the paperwork that you sign at that recruiting station, you have the right to change your mind. And I suggest, if you do get an option that's open, especially if you get an option that you don't want, a job that becomes available that you're kind of iffy about, or it was your plan B, go home and sleep on it. You don't have to choose it that day. Go home, sleep on it, think about it, talk it over, look up what it entails, try to find people that are doing that job, and sleep on it first before you sign and commit to that job. But like I was saying, you have the right to change your mind. If you feel like you did your research and you realize the military is not for you, and you signed some paperwork at MEPS, or I mean at the recruiting station, you have the right to withdraw and not go forward with it. So people, I guess they're intimidated when they go in there and they see these soldiers and they're in uniform and they look very intimidated, and they feel like they don't have the right to change their mind because they're probably fast talking and smooth talking them like salesmen do, and not really giving people all of their options. So know that you do have the right to change your mind. The other thing that I want to talk about, which I didn't really think about until Matt Ward said this, but it was almost something that I did. So because it was something that I did, I want to put it out there to the people that watch my channel. Do not, I'm not going to say do not, but I highly suggest you don't speak to an Army recruiter about what the Air Force is like. So people kind of And if you don't know, you don't know. People go in there and they think that that Army recruiters gonna know what the Air Force is like, or what the Marines is like, or what the Navy is like. And unless that person was prior service in one of those other branches, they may or may not don't know, and still yet that's their experience. But I see people like, well, I don't really know what I want to do. And I tell people, go talk to all recruiters in all those branches. If you consider Navy and Army, go talk to a Navy recruiter and an Army recruiter. But don't go into the Army recruiting office and ask the Army recruiter, well, what do you think the Navy is like? Because I'm kind of thinking about doing Navy too, because they're going to sell you on the Army. That's what their job is. Like I said, they're a salesman. So they're going to sell you on the Army. They're going to tell you all about the Army, all about the good things about the Army, and all about the benefits of the Army. They may or may not know what the Navy entails, but if they do, they're probably not going to really tell you about it, or they're not going to tell you the good things about it, because they don't want you to go Navy. They want you to go Army. So that's my advice. If you're thinking about doing other branches, by all means go speak to those recruiters in those other branches. But when you go, ask those recruiters direct questions about their specific branch. You can't go into a Navy branch and ask a Navy branch, well, what do you think it's like in the Army? Because I'm kind of deciding on that too. They're going to sell you on Navy stuff. They're going to talk to you about the Navy and everything that's good and pretty about the Navy. And they're probably, if they do tell you about the Army, they're going to tell you the bad things about the Army, all of the bad stuff, because they're going to try to get you to go Navy. So it's not a very good idea to talk to other branches about other branches. Go to that specific branch and ask specific questions about that branch. And then if you're thinking about other branches, walk in there as though you never went to the other branch. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about Navy and Army, talk to a Navy recruiter first, or Army recruiter, vice versa. It doesn't matter. But when you go into that next branch recruiting station, don't even say anything about you went to the other one, because they're going to try to get you to go into where you're coming into, and it's going to be confusing. I say go in there with a notebook, a pen and a pad, have your questions, and write everything down, because it's always great to be able to refer back to something. A lot of times when they're talking, like I said, they're like salesmen. They're going to smooth talk you into what they're trying to get you to do. It may be a lot of information coming at you at once, and when you get home, you're going to be like, I don't even know what just happened. I don't even know what they just told me. It was so much, so fast. Write stuff down when you go in there. Have a book for Navy, have a book for Army. And then when you get home, you can look and compare the both of them, and you can weigh the pros and cons on both of them and make an informed decision. So that is my advice to anybody that's thinking about going to speak to a recruiter, especially if you're going to speak to multiple recruiters. And those are just my tips on some of the common mistakes that I see people make. Y'all, don't make these mistakes. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. The doors in the morning. Hard work.